which games and player totals are going over their projected numbers and which ones are going to be going under.
All right, we are going to start with Thursday Night Football. So
Yes,
we have Carolina and Houston. The over-under there, 43. It's a low one. No Tyrod Taylor for the Texans. Geoff, what do you think? Over or under that, babe?
Yeah, I mean, this may look like a bit of a small total, but I'm definitely leaning under here. Look, just the number's already coming down a bit. He was 43.5 2 seconds ago. Now it's 43. You look at Carolina, too. People think, oh, well, it's fast-paced under Matt Rule. They don't really have a good defense. This team is now 7-11 at hitting overs, so they have a losing record to the overs. They're 11-7. I guess we could say that hitting the unders since Matt Rule took over at the beginning of last season. This team likes to run the ball a little bit. It likes to play at a bit of a slower pace. And now they have an opponent in Davis Mills that's going to let them play at as slow as pace as they want because they're probably not going to be moving the ball much. Even if Carolina comes out and scores 28, 30 points here, are the Texans really going to be in that good a spot to score more than a couple field goals? Probably not. I really like the under in this one.
All right, AJ, what are the chances you like the over here, bud?
Not good. Not good at all. I'll definitely be with Geoff on the under here. Look, to kind of back up some of what he said here. You know, yes, the Panthers defense has been a little bit maligned, but they've actually been pretty good against the pass here. They've given up the fewest passing yards in the league at just 287. So between having a third string quarterback, going up against a defense that is actually doing okay against the pass here, I think we're going to see two teams that are running the ball, going slow here. And I just don't see where the offense is going to come from. Tyrod Taylor has almost single-handedly provided the offense through the first two games, whether through the air or even on the ground himself. So there's not anything in this that makes me say they can hit the over.
All right, how about the Vikings-Seahawks total? This is sitting at 55.5. Now, this point total opened at 48. So, AJ, it's already gone way up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's still appropriate. I'm going to take the over on this one. I don't want to harp on pass defenses too much here, but the Vikings have been really bad. They've allowed 588 yards with 5 TDs, and perhaps most concerning, a league-high 77.8% completion rate against through the first two games of the season. This game is absolutely set up for Russell Wilson to feast on the opposition, rack up some points. You add in on the other side of the ball, the Seahawks have the second worst rush defense in terms of yards allowed, and they've got to face Dalvin Cook here. And I just think this is a situation where we're going to see both strengths of each side of this offense just kind of dominating and a lot of points coming. So I'm not surprised it's moved that much, and I will still take the over here.
All right, Geoff, do you still want to take the over?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, first of all, I'm the overs guy, Jesse, so let's get back on the overs. I took my one under for the month in that last game. But look, Minnesota under Mike Zimmer, their secondary has been terrible for a while now. Last year, 11-5 at hitting overs. They are 7-1 to the overs in Minnesota games played in Minnesota over the last year. They're already 2-0 to the overs this season. This team is not good in the secondary. Patrick Peterson is not helping anything. They're 5th last in terms of yards per attempt allowed against already this season. Russell Wilson is going to slice and dice here. And look, Kirk Cousins at home has actually been pretty good. The Seattle secondary, we know it's beatable. And they got Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen this week. This one is still a couple points too low. Early season, guys, you got to side with the offenses. We're still in week 3 here, just like last year. This one's still too low. I know it's come up from 48, but this should be a couple points higher. Give me the over here.
Let's go with another total that is tied for the highest on the slate, 55.5. Bucs Rams. This one opened at 54.5. Already up a point there. So, Geoff, what do you think? Over or under? Bucs on the road out west, man.
Look, it's Wednesday. It's hump day. We're going over here. And look, all these overs I took last week, like 4 of the 5 of them hit, by the way. So the only one that did was Dallas Chargers. But this one, look, the Rams are a different team. They're already 2-0 to the over this season. So with Matthew Stafford, they're hitting their passes. They're so much more efficient in the passing game. Cooper Kupp just making a mockery of opposing secondaries. They haven't even gotten Robert Woods involved. Now they're taking on Tampa Bay, a team that opponents against Tampa Bay have averaged 53 pass attempts against so far. I won't even talk about how good Tom Brady is playing because everybody talks about that. Yeah, it's the Rams defense, but guess what? This one is going to be a fast-paced game. Matthew Stafford's going to put up points, and it's just going to force Tampa to throw all game. I think this one is still too low, too. You got to side with the offenses early in the season. Give me the over.
AJ, Rams averaging north of 30 points a game. Bucs have averaged close to 40. Like, both are a threat to score in bunches, and clearly the betting odds show that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you can get this game as like the highest total, that's a bet worth looking at too, because, you know, as Geoff said, the Buccaneers have scored a league high 79 points to start the year. And Tom Brady looks like the guy that won the MVP back in 2017. I don't see anybody stopping him right now. I know that Rams group has only allowed one passing TD to kick off the season, but this is just two offenses that are just firing on all cylinders. You've got the Bucs that are going to give up the points. They've been comfortable winning in shootouts. At the start of the year, we thought, oh, maybe they'll ease into it. They'll play some quality defense and just have Tom do enough. But they've needed Brady to, you know, rack up a ton of points. I don't see that changing this week either. Over is the way to go.
Yeah, okay, speaking of that, a weekly special on the DK Sportsbook from that same game. Brady and Stafford, combined passing yards, over 599.5. AJ, do you like that? You just said Brady's going to have to be scoring points, throwing TDs. How do you like it?
Well, here's the thing. You know, my initial reaction was no way, but you look at the Stafford numbers, he was 1 yard shy of averaging 300 per game. Brady has been through the roof at 655 through 2 games. But still, even with all that, there's just not enough value for me to take this one. It's coming at plus 105. You need both guys to essentially throw for 300 yards apiece. I mean, if the value was more, I do think this will happen. You know, if you're asking me just straight up, will it happen? Yeah, probably, but I don't like 105 as a value for any sort of risk that an injury pops up or any other sort of variance here. I'd rather honestly take a shot at Derek Carr to go over 349.5 versus the Dolphins this week. You get plus 350 on that one. You're only relying on one player instead of two. It really just comes down to the value for me on this one, and it's not there.
All right, Geoff, under a minute. What do we think?
No, I do like this one. You can't run the ball against Tampa. This team is allowing 3 yards per carry. They've allowed 57 yards rushing per game. Matthew Stafford's going to come out throwing, and he's going to get that. I'm actually more worried about the Brady side of the ball, but look, it's Bruce Arians. Even if they're having success with the run, they're going to throw the ball. So I actually like this one. I think that plus money, I would take the over here. I think this is actually decent value, so I'm more on it than AJ.